Okay, so here's an example of what we're doing here. This is a small styrofoam cooler. This is probably like the smallest size you want to go. Anything smaller is going to be too small. Ideally, you want it bigger than this, but this is like the minimum smallest size. So I taped the lid on, cut a hole using a 6-inch hole saw, which is this like drill attachment here. You don't have to use that though. I mean, you can, this is a drywall cutter. It cuts really nicely, easily. You could also use a knife if you're careful. You know, styrofoam is easy to cut. So I actually cut the hole first and then taped the lid on. You want to do that outside because it gets pieces of styrofoam everywhere. It's really annoying. So you'll take your shelter like this with the hole cut in it, and then you wrap it in a trash bag. Contractor bag. What do I have here? 42 gallon, and you want ones that are like the 3 mil thickness or more, but usually the 3 mil, 42 gallon is pretty standard. Sometimes you might have like a huge cooler, like these, where I had to tape 2 trash bags together. Kind of pain. Coolers that just fit nicely inside these bags are the easiest. Okay, so that's the first thing. So basically what you're gonna do is put the trash bag over it and then wrap it like a Christmas present, essentially. So I will show you once I get that going. Okay, so the cooler is pushed all the way into the back of the bag. This is where the hole is. I have the seam kind of going towards the top. This is the top, because I'm gonna end up taping these flaps down. And there's a lot of excess bag here, you know, for wrapping on this side, since this is a small cooler. So I'm gonna cut the bag kind of below where the flaps are on the bag. Okay, so I cut off excess. So now what I'm gonna do is, it's still a lot of room in this bag, so I'm gonna flip it upside down. So now this is the bottom of the shelter. And to get rid of some of this excess, this is hard to do with one hand, but I'm going to fold it over itself and tape along the bottom so it's tight. Okay, so now that I have the bottom kind of secured, I'm gonna stand it on its end. So this is the bottom of the shelter. And then, this is hard to do with one hand, but I'm going to basically wrap it like a Christmas present and secure all the seams. Because you don't want water to get in the bag, ideally. So I'm gonna end up folding it up like nicer, like this, tape it a little bit, and then put the top down. And then I'm gonna tape like the bottom pieces first and then the top pieces. So that way, if water gets in there, it's like running down this way, you know? So like you don't wanna flap the bottom over the top. It's better to flap the top over the bottom for water coming down, if that makes sense. And duct tape, there's all different kinds. The Gorilla tape, it's the most expensive, but that's really sticky. You want like an all-weather tape, but you know, it's kind of whatever. You can always put a ton of tape on it and it'll be fine. Okay, this might be easier to understand this way. So this is the bottom. I taped this piece up, and there's like a seam here, so I'm gonna tape over that. And then I'm gonna tape a flap. Then I'm gonna tape this flap, and then we'll come over with the top at the end. Okay, so I taped the bottom piece up, taped the right piece, taped the left piece, and now this top piece, I'm gonna, oh my God, I can't one-handed do it. I'm gonna tape it down. Just imagine that's taped down. And then I'm gonna put a piece of tape going this way, this way, this way, and this way to cover up the crisscrossy flaps. Okay, so taped it all. And somebody just taught me this. You don't have to do it, but at the end of the duct tape, when it sticks off here, you can kind of rip it down the center and then kind of crisscross it and then put another piece of tape just to reinforce the corners of the thing. So I did the same thing on the other end. This was a lot easier because it's the closed side of the trash bag. Taped it all, reinforced the corners, and now this is where the hole is. So we're gonna take the scissors. This is gonna be hard one-handed, but you're gonna basically cut, okay, I'm gonna have to do this. Cut it out, and then you're gonna take tape and tape around the opening. Okay, hole has been cut. There's an example of the tape there. Then you're gonna just start with the next one, secure it down, and then just work all the way up towards the top. All right, so tape all around, smooth it out, and then the next step is to stuff it with straw. You want to use straw, not hay, because straw stays dry. And various other reasons. I don't know. The cats like straw, apparently. That's the thing. I forgot to mention, you want to drill the hole higher up. You don't want it down on the ground because you want to keep water potentially getting out of it. So the higher up, the better. Put straw in it. It'll smash down over time. You can kind of push it down and stuff. And a good amount of straw, though. You can always add more straw, too. That's basically it. Depending on where you're putting this, you can, to keep water out of the hole, you can, like, if it's, you can lean a board against it, or if it's in the woods, you can use, like, whatever debris and stuff in the woods to cover the hole. Or you can make little awnings, which I found out before, you don't want to make them too long if it's a lightweight thing because it could tip. So what's worked for me so far, I take pieces of styrofoam. This is optional. I'm going to have to probably cut these more. Again, do it outside because it makes a huge mess. Kind of get it on there. And then I like duct tape it on and then just put layers of duct tape all around and secure it on there. That just keeps water out of it. What else? You want to weigh the thing down wherever you're putting it so wind doesn't tip it over, etc. A lot of people just put a brick on it. You want to try to keep it off the ground too. So like bricks underneath it or similar something. If it's in the woods, I like balance it on like some sticks and logs and stuff or whatever, just to try to keep it out of the water or snow. But yeah, essentially that's it. Trying to think. I don't know. If you have any questions, let me know. But that's basically it. Another alternative shelter instead of styrofoam coolers is you can do, like this is a storage Tupperware container. I have pictures of it, but of the process, but it's kind of more labor intensive and annoying. I had scrap of this like pink stuff from Home Depot insulation, dense foam stuff. And I basically constructed a box inside of the Tupperware and taped it all. I was able to get it out and then tape the outside of it and put it in there and then have a lid on it in there. I put the straw on it first, then I put this on the top, then the Tupperware lid, and then taped, I had to cut a hole, tape that, tape around the lid, then tape 2 trash bags together, and it's a super taped mess. But it is another option if you have trouble getting the styrofoam coolers, which they're hard to come by. I've had a lot of people donate them to me. Like Omaha Steaks. Apparently vet offices might get them in, like veterinarians or like pharmacies or pet shops, they say. I don't know. But styrofoam cooler is much easier, but this can be done and the supplies are more readily available.